photo over here? This is your chance. Pull out your phone. Take some photos if you want. Last chance.
Can I get someone I know to take a picture right now because I'm freaking out? Who is that guy? He's like,
Wow. How's everybody doing? I'm sorry, what? Well, this is, excellent. Thank you so much for signing for me down here. Appreciate that. Thank you. Were you here for Jeff Goldblum?
You're better.
Well, did Jeff, He's a great guy, actually. I know him well. I worked with him once.
you certainly did.
Or twice, actually. Yes, Brent. Hi. Let me think about that.
So, is this your first FanX here in Salt Lake City? No?
Yes, it is.
See, yeah.
You know what? How many have I been? Two. I've done two before, right? Huh? I think it is my third.
Having a good time?
Second? Or you just weren't at the first one? Second.
Okay. You having a good time?
Time of my life.
I seriously, I love this place. I love the sense of community and stuff, and it's just a really good time.
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay.
What is your name?
Shannon.
Shannon.
Yeah.
Shannon. What do you do?
I'm on the Geek Show podcast. It's
Geek Show podcast?
Yeah, it's a reasonably popular podcast.
Cool.
I'm also a fourth grade teacher.
What?
A fourth grade teacher.
Oh, a fourth grade teacher.
But more importantly, I am basically a lifelong Star Trek fan.
Oh.
And my show is your show, my friend. So.
You know what? I gotta say, I just so you know, fourth grade was very important to me. I peaked in fourth grade.
I'm currently peaking in fourth grade.
I understand. So what can we talk about? Shannon, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Irish, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
No. So, of course not. Of course, I found out a week ago I'd be sitting up here with you doing this.
What have you been doing all week since?
Researching.
Oh, yeah.
For the whole week.
Have you? Yeah, well, it's a big oeuvre, you know.
So, let's talk about what I consider to be your most famous character.
You okay?
A character that changed my life at a very early age.
I know what you're going to say.
And his name is Bob Wheeler.
I knew you were going to say that.
Bob Wheeler, the patriarch of the Wheeler family.
Yes.
The much put upon Wheeler family.
Yes. I was so lucky to do that because it was a character that I had been doing since I was a little kid. And I got this audition for Night Court, and I thought, gee, I wonder if I can do I called my character Elmo. And I thought, I wonder if I can do Elmo. And I went in and I went for it, and they gave me the part. And the rest is history.
So, if you don't know what we're talking about, a great show from the 80s called Night Court. And I love that show. And I really honestly think that show was like way ahead of its time.
Oh, it was. It was completely surreal, wonderful show.
Yeah, and it had like reoccurring characters like the Wheelers and stuff like that. And I just remember every year when the Wheelers would come back on, I'd be like, oh, here they are, you know?
Exactly.
My favorite, it's so hard. The first time you guys came on, and you guys had lost your home.
Yes.
The daughter is in a potato sack.
That's right.
And my dad used to say this to me all the time after we saw this on Night Court. I'd look at him and I'd go, Daddy, are we ever going to go to Disneyland and see Mickey Mouse?
That was one of her lines, wasn't it?
And your reaction was, do you remember?
What did I say? No,
You were like,
sweetheart.
No, not ever.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what's even sadder than that? You may have noticed that after the first 2 episodes, she disappeared.
Yeah, the daughter was gone.
We didn't know where she went. You know? We didn't even reference her again.
Right, as par for the Wheelers, I think you might have lost a kid on accident.
It's true. Hey, let me ask you something. Are there screens on both sides? Yeah, because I noticed the only people looking at me are the front row. I'm looking over everybody's.
You thought there was a more entertaining panel maybe happening over there.
So, have you done any other panels since this began today, or yesterday, or the day before?
Well, I've done some talking about comic books and stuff, but not any.
You haven't been with a giant in the industry.
No, the last time I was in this room, I was with a giant of industry that was this tall. I was with Vern Troyer.
Oh, wow.
About 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Well, that's impressive. I feel honored to be in your presence.
Lucky you.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, sorry, I was leaving you a little hole to ask me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, love Bob Wheeler. The whole chicken farm. What a tragic story that is. Go on YouTube and Google Brent Spiner Night Court, and you will laugh.
I will.
Yeah.
I could use a laugh. Thank you. Because I have no memory of it whatsoever. I mean, I know I was on it, but, you know.
He's so funny, you guys. He's got a mullet, and whenever he's not talking, his mouth is just like this. It's great.
Yeah.
So I noticed you're in your warm-up jacket.
I'm in a sweatshirt.
Sweatshirt.
Yeah. That says
Donovan Fight Club on it.
Donovan Fight Club on the back. Yeah. I'm in 3 episodes of Ray Donovan.
One of my favorite shows. Ray Donovan, come on.
Ray Donovan, what do you think? Matter of fact, Liam Shriver, come on out.
What?
Yeah, he's not here.
Didn't happen.
He's not here. Okay. You there to get Liam to? Yeah. Anyway, I played a psychiatrist on the show. I was actually Ray and his wife's psychiatrist, marriage counselor.
I had a question about Leave.
Yeah.
Does he ever smile in real life?
I wasn't around him that much. He didn't smile for 3 days. No, actually, I was only shot 1 day.
Oh, really?
And from that 1 day, they cut 3 episodes, but they only paid me for one episode. Yeah.
That doesn't seem right.
Does it? Does it?
Don't they know who you are?
Well, yeah, I think they do.
You've done so much stuff.
Yeah.
I was just.
Well, I'm old.
What?
Yeah, I'm old. You know.
Well, I'm old. I haven't done much either.
Gotta get busy. Yeah.
You got to be the Joker.
I was the Joker once. I was a Joker in an episode of Young Justice. The show didn't last for long, but Mark Hamill was usually the Joker on all of the animated series, and brilliant he was. But he decided he'd had enough and he didn't want to be the Joker anymore, and so they called me and said, "Would you do it?" And I said, "Yeah." And then they have this new show called Justice League, and Hamill decided he wanted to come back and be the Joker. So I'm the Riddler on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I've only done one. I did one, and Hamill and I got to be the Riddler and the Joker together. Am I the only one hearing an echo in here? You're all hearing an echo.
Oh, no. I've been trying to deal with this all weekend long. I feel like I'm going crazy.
Has everybody Somebody mentioned it.
I think
It's really enjoyable, boy.
Well,
You know. Yeah.
where are you?
Radio man, you can tell.
Okay. We gotta get to it.
Okay. We had enough of me and you?
I think we should start the crowd lining up to ask questions.
Should we get rid of him, or, no? No. You know, you'd be kind of like the little girl on my court.
Exactly. Just go away.
Yeah, you'll disappear and nobody will know where you went. Hey, you know, I'm gonna take this fight sweatshirt off because it's hot up here. Maybe not. I just have a shirt on underneath. What's the big deal? You're my hero. Okay.
So, gotta talk about Star Trek, of course.
Well, if you must. Wait. Oh, we're not going out to the fans yet.
Well,
you had an agenda. You want to do it.
Actually,
Go
let's
ahead.
just go. Let's just go.
You sure?
Yeah, let's
There's
go.
only one person.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Let's get some people starting the lineup.
We gotta
We've only
kill the rest of the
Yeah, we don't
hour.
have very much time.
Oh, there they are over there.
Oh, okay. All right.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm confused. There's two. Should we take Bell first and then move over there? Okay.
Yeah. Look at that. You have your own mic.
I do.
Oh, nice.
It's
You
the
look
privilege of a
fantastic.
princess.
Sorry?
It's the privilege of a princess. Thank you.
You don't have to tell me.
Star Trek was very formative for a lot of people, especially your character. It was interesting to experience a character who did not experience emotion. Kind of made you my first nerd crush.
How could you help yourself?
Exactly. Did you prefer your character without emotion or with emotion when you got the chip?
I don't know. You know what? I like them both. I know a lot of people weren't crazy about Data having gotten emotion all of a sudden, and the motion chip idea. I thought it was a great idea because how often do you watch a television show for several years and one of the characters changes dramatically into something else? And I thought it was a great opportunity. And then they figured out how to go back and forth with it, and I think it worked neat. It was neat. Just my opinion, of course. I don't know how Shannon felt about it.
Jeez, I'm sorry I've offended you somehow. I'm just gonna sit here.
It's okay. You did not offend me, Shannon. I'm happy to have you here with me.
I'm just happy to have the best seat in the house.
Can I get security up here? Are they coming from there?
He's there now, so they come over.
From there to there?
Yeah.
Well, how cool.
My job is to monitor to make sure that there's people over here, I guess.
Right.
Okay, so I'll be doing that.
Do you people who are behind the crane feel you have the best seats in the house? Oh, well, every now and then I'm going to step out just to say, hey. How are you? Hi, baby. Are you together or are you? No, okay. Hey, how are you?
Doing great.
Good.
You spent so many years playing an emotionless character. Were there ever times on the Next Generation where you felt like maybe you weren't quite human?
You know, I always felt I was human. I didn't get that confused. For one thing, the contacts in my eyes hurt so much. I knew if I was a machine, this wouldn't hurt at all. And yet they did. So I thought, I must be human. Yeah, no, I never got confused. I knew it was a character I was doing, as opposed to many of you. Hey there.
Hi.
How are Good, thanks. I'm glad to be here. This is the single best Comic-Con. You know, I've probably been to, I don't know, 3 or 4 through the years, and I mean, seriously, we've been all over the world with doing Comic-Cons, and this is the single best Comic-Con in the world. Good job. Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Where did I say that? Oh, I'm going to Edmonton, which I've heard is the single best.
In Canada.
In Canada, exactly.
I was just wondering if you could talk about what it was like working with Stephen Hawking and the cat Spot.
Well, I'll start with the Hawk, because that's what I called him. It was an absolutely unbelievable experience working with Stephen Hawking. I mean, can you imagine? This guy was the smartest man in the world, probably. And he decided to be on our show. He wanted to be on the show. He called Rick Berman, our producer. He had his people call Rick Berman and the producers and say, I want to be on the show. And so they wrote him a scene. And I was the lucky actor who got to be in the scene with him. And it was an unbelievable, I think it's one of the most amazing moments in television history, really, to have Stephen Hawking on Star Trek. Probably not since Einstein was on Bonanza has anything that
Great
amazing.
episode. Great episode.
You remember that one?
Oh, God.
You know, Haas, Einstein, they were
Hop sing, it was just beautiful.
singing
It's
out of
wonderful.
Einstein, yeah, talking about relativity. Anyway, it was kind of a remarkable experience, really. And as you recall, the scene that we did together took place on the holodeck. I don't know if you people know what the holodeck was, but it was obviously it was a room that could be programmed to be anything, and in this case it was programmed to be a poker game between Stephen Hawking, Einstein, Sir Isaac Newton, and of course Data the Lovable Android. And the way the scene was written, Hawking won the game. And so cut to a couple years later, I'm on the lot, on Paramount lot, and I'm in my Data makeup, and I was walking down the street, and I saw coming around the corner Dr. Hawking in his wheelchair with his entourage with him, and they're coming towards me, and I could see that he saw me, and they're coming right towards me. Now, you know, Dr. Hawking, when he was younger, was very ill, and he lost the ability to speak, and so he had a computer in his chair that he could type into, and it would speak what he was thinking. And I could see that when he saw me, he started to type immediately. And as he got right up to me, he said, I said, "Oh, Dr. Hawking, how nice to see you." And he pressed a button, and his computer said, "Where's my money?"
Great.
And I, of course, said, "The check is in the mail." You know, I mean, you said it. But on your second comment was to ask me to speak about Spot. Are you filming this? Just for yourself, right? You won't put this on anything. Because really, you know, I want this to be between me and
Yeah,
you.
just enjoy it, buddy. Come on.
I don't want it to be between me and you and anyone else. Even Shannon, I don't want to have any...
Oh, God, he hates me.
You know, there's a very thin line between hate and love, Shannon.
I know. I was married once.
Yeah, okay, well then you know. Spot, and I've said this before, Spot the cat, delightful creature. I have no problem with cats. I don't know where that came from, but I really don't. I love cats. Cats are beautiful animals. And, but I will say Spot was the single worst actor I ever worked with in my life. I mean, Spot couldn't take direction, you know? They would say, they give Spot ridiculous things to do, and Spot couldn't do any of them. And they had a wrangler, they called them cat wrangler, on the set, who they would make a little noise with a noisemaker, and they would go, "Nee," and that was supposed to be Spot's cue to do what it was. And those people were standing in a corner going, "Ee," all day long. But the bad thing about having Spot in the show, and I have to say, whenever I read a script and Spot's name was in it, my stomach turned over, because I knew it was going to be a very, very long day, and it always was. I mean, I think one time in the entire series, Spot actually delivered on the first take, and that was what they wrote, Spot eats tuna out of a can. First time, got it just right. But Ron Moore and Brandon Braga, who were writers on the show, and wonderful writers, always used to drop things that Spot had to do that were impossible into the script, and only into my script. Nobody else would get that script, just so I would flip, you know, when I would read it. So there you are.
So my mom had a question for you, but she can't really stand up for long periods of time. Are you fully functional?
You knew that was coming, right?
Your mom asked that? I guarantee she wouldn't be able to stand for long.
Rubbing off on you there. That's what it was.
Wow. That is so unlike me, really.
Hey, how you doing?
Cowboys in space.
Nice cowboy, right at your service.
Yeah.
My question is, I know it's one of your favorite little hobbies to do. Whenever you had a con with Patrick Stewart,
Yes.
of all the many times you got the chance to crash his panels, what was your favorite time and at which con?
I don't remember. Is he here?
Sounds like it.
Hello. Are you back there, Patrick? Yes. What? Well, come on out. No, I couldn't. Patrick, I hear you have a new show. Yes. Will I be on? No. Well, whatever. You know what? I don't honestly remember. I mean, I did it several times, and he was always game, you know, and he would play with me, and, you know, it was fun. So he's a funny guy, Patrick. He's got a really good sense of humor. Have you? Yeah. Did you watch Blunt Talk?
I loved it.
Wasn't that a great show? I thought that was one of the best things he's ever done. He was so great on that show. And Jonathan Ames, who wrote it, a brilliant writer. I really wish that show had stayed on the air. I think they all did. I don't know why they took it off. It was just cooking. And they said that this great character of Phil, the piano player, was going to be back the next year in a major way. And then the show ended. I don't know who played that part, but the guy was fantastic. Oh, it was me, right. Thank you so much. Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. Having played an android, what are your thoughts on the direction that technology is going? And do you think that conscious electronic life is possible within your lifetime? Do you think you're going to be able to meet data?
What, do you think I'm a scientist? How would I know? I'm an actor. I was pretending. What do you do? What field are you in?
I'm in a lot of fields. I would like to be a singer someday. I'd also like to be a baker.
Oh. Well, then obviously that's where that question comes from. A singing baker is a really good idea. It's not bad, you know? The question was, I wasn't really listening to you, to be honest. But it was something about androids and do I want to meet them and do I think I'll meet them and do I want to meet them? And you didn't say that, did you? Well, maybe you kind of did. You know what? I would rather meet a singing baker than an android. Because who doesn't like bread, right? But we don't know if this android's going to be likable or not. I think it's going to be fine. I think, you know what? I think AI is a good thing. I think it's nothing to be afraid of. I think we'll all be fine. We'll all be out of work. But we can watch more television, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming back again.
Thank you.
So you mentioned that your least favorite person to work with or cat was Spot.
Yeah, Spot was not a person. Do you know?
I do know that. I do know the difference between
Bad
people and
actor.
cats.
He wasn't an actor either, but
you know, but who was your favorite person to work with, both as an actor or actress and producer?
favorite person to work with that I've ever worked with, or on Star Trek?
On Star Trek.
You know what? I didn't really care for any of them. No. You know what? I used to say that I liked everyone on the show except Jonathan because he could take it, but then I found out he couldn't take it. No, you know what? We all got on really well. We're all still really good friends. We see each other all the time. You know, I like all of them. I mean, we're really close. They're like family to me. They really are. They're so close. A week ago, tomorrow night, we all had dinner. Patrick invited us all to come to a restaurant. He said, it's on me. I'd like everyone to come. And, what just happened to my voice? I don't know. And he invited us all to dinner, and we came, and we all had a great time, because we all enjoyed being with each other. Yeah. Thank you.
Brent, can I piggyback off that question?
Yeah.
So I had a question that's like, so Data, there were either great, like super like emotional moments or great comedic moments with Data. And so I had kind of had a question like, who was your favorite to riff on comedically? Like, who did you like play the best off comedically on Next Gen?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I mean, because the comedy was just sort of generally kind of organic to whatever the scene, what was going on in the scene. So it wasn't like, you know, Martin and Lewis. We weren't like...
For me, I always thought like you and Worf just...
Me and Worf.
Oh, it just cracked me up.
Well, that's true. Worf was fun to play with because Michael is funny. You know, everybody actually on the show is funny. Now, people have asked us before, could you tell me about some practical jokes you did on the set? We didn't do practical jokes on the set, really, never. But we laughed all day long because everybody was funny. And we were a raucous crowd. We really were. We were very misbehaved. We had an episode early on. Denise was still on the show at that point, and we were so loud. And we used to. They had this thing where they go, okay, rolling. And they roll in the cameras. Then the sound catches up, and they say, we have speed and action, and you do the scene. So usually by rolling, we would be quiet because we were loud and boisterous. Then a little bit into it, it was when they said speed that we would calm down a little bit. Then it got to the point we wouldn't stop until they said action, and we would just flip into character. And but but we had a director who really felt he couldn't work with us. He was like, I can't concentrate, they're too noisy, they're too boisterous, they're too loud. And he went to the producer and he said, I can't come back again, I can't do this show again. Our producer was Rick Berman, and Rick called us. We all were to meet in Patrick's ready room, or the captain's ready room. Patrick didn't actually own it, although he thought he did. But no, he didn't. And so we all met in the ready room, and Rick said, "Look, guys, this is really embarrassing. You know, we have a really good director. He's been directing for years, and you guys are so misbehaved. He's saying he doesn't want to come back again. You got to get it together." And Patrick, who's come from the Royal Shakespeare Company, says, "I am absolutely appalled. Never in my career have I had a situation like this. I'm embarrassed for all of us." And Denise said, "Oh, come on, Patrick, we just want to have some fun." And he went, "Fun? You're not here to have fun, you're here to work." By now, Jonathan's crying. Seriously. Anyway, it happened to be the episode where Denise, it was her last episode, Skin of Evil, I think, where she was taken into a pool of Metamucil or whatever it was. And,
Whatever that was, right?
you know what, I think it actually was Metamucil. And Jonathan had to go in it, it was awful. But at the end of that episode, there's a scene where there's a hill, a bucolic hill, where we sort of do a funeral. Patrick does a funeral for Tasha Yar, who's left us, and then the last shot is Data just kind of missing his squeeze. And but Patrick is getting ready to rehearse, and he's up on the hill, and all of a sudden he stretches his arms out and he goes, "Thy hills are alive!" And he starts whirling around, and this was the day after he chewed us out. But it was a really it was a turning point. And after that, he was as bad as the rest of us, if not worse. So it was always fun. It really was. Did you have a question?
Hi, so I'm a huge fan of your work with Star Trek, and recently I've been a huge fan of your work with HCS voice packs and the voice attack software, and I'm just wondering, how is that experience working with them, and if you've seen the finished product there in action, how do you feel about that?
I haven't seen it. It was daunting to do because they asked me to do it. It's a game, right? It's what? It's a software that integrates with multiple games. They didn't tell me that. But anyway, they hired me to do a voice thing for this software. And I got there to the studio to record it. Usually you record something, you can do it in like an hour, half an hour. It was a phone book. It really was. I single-spaced. I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, what? I'm going to record this? And it was like a 5 or 6 hour recording session. And but it was fun. And they were really nice. And it turned out okay, huh? No, cool. I've never seen it, but I hear it's good. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. The fact that I've never seen it doesn't reflect on anything, because I don't watch anything or listen to anything I do. I saw maybe the first 10 episodes of Star Trek, and that's all I've seen. Except for the films, which I had to contractually go to the premiere. But
I actually read that about you. I was like,
yeah,
he doesn't watch stuff.
it's not that I don't like it. I love it, but
you were there.
It felt redundant,
Yeah.
you know.
I haven't listened to my podcast we've been doing for 10 years. I haven't listened to it for like the last 8 years. Because I'm like, I was there.
Yeah, I read the scripts, I acted in them, and I found myself watching them going, I know what's going to happen. And So I think I'll watch something else, and I did.
I think we have another question.
Hey.
Hello. I was wondering how much you enjoyed when you got to sing as Data, and if you remember your lyrics from A British Tar.
Yes, I enjoyed it, and no, I don't. But I do remember life forms, you tiny little life. And I only remember that because I wrote that song. It said in the script, Data sings, and then it said, life forms, you tiny life forms. And that's all it said. And we got to that moment, and the director said, okay, Brent, we're going to shoot the song now. I went, what song? There is no song. It just says, Data sings, life forms, you tiny life. So I had to come up with something, and I worked out something and did it, and I've never seen a residual for it.
I owned Old Yellow Eyes Returns.
Oh, you did?
I lost it in the divorce.
Oh, well, yeah. That's tough, man.
It's a rough break, right? Another question.
So, coming from an autistic childhood where I didn't understand a lot of things, I really reflected on Data, and I just wondered, how did you do the no emotion thing when you have such a passionate personality?
You know what? Acting is just a series of challenges, and you got to solve the problems. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I was lucky I was able to pull it off but I think part of the reason I was able to pull off Data is because there was no real precedent for it. It wasn't like, I was playing an android and people couldn't really say, you're not really believable as an android. There are so many better android performances than yours. And so it was just whatever my imagination could do is what was accepted. And but that's cool. I appreciate your mentioning that the character resonated with you as a kid. And we've heard that several times. I have. We thought what we were doing, and we were, was to just try to entertain people. That was our objective. And then years later, we find out it had a whole different impact that we didn't even know about. And, I've had people come to my table at conventions, or people come up to me on the street and say, I had autism when I was a kid, or I was, whatever. And Data was what I could relate to. Somebody who was also searching for what it meant to be human, or what it meant to have emotion or to not have emotion. And I'm honored by that. I had no idea that was even happening, and I'm glad I didn't know, because I probably would have pushed the writers further in that direction and ruined the whole thing. But that's an awesome thing.
I think this might be our last question. We only got 6 minutes and 14 seconds.
6 minutes and 13, 12, 11.
Let's get to the question. Let's do the question.
So Data is at the center of some of the most poignant, heartfelt, gut-wrenching moments in The Next Generation. I was wondering if you could tell us about one that was maybe particularly meaningful or memorable for you.
Well, the most gut-wrenching was probably the end of Nemesis. Because I knew I was out of a job. But I took solace in the idea that so was everyone else. But I use this line a million times of, that because people weren't all that thrilled with Data blowing up. But people have said, why did you do that, blah, blah, blah. But I said, well, you know what, when you left the theater that night, as you were walking up the aisle, behind you on the screen, the Enterprise blew up, and everybody else was killed too. But now Patrick's coming back, so that's not true. But I'm thrilled that he's coming back, aren't you? I mean, as great an actor as Patrick is, and he really is, and he's done so many great performances and classical things, and great performances on stage and on the screen and on television, I still think Captain Picard is the greatest creation of his. It's fantastic in that role.
He's my captain. So I read something really interesting. You've said that you probably wouldn't play Data again?
Well, you know what? I never say never, but in the first place, they'd have to ask me.
Right.
You know, I can't just show up on the set.
Hey, I'm here and I got my outfit.
Yeah, I got my makeup on and I'm on the... No, essentially, my line is basically, I'm too old to wear the mustard anymore, but you know.
I did read you had a choice of a person to do it if you didn't.
If I didn't do it, if I had somebody else, if someone else, well, yeah, I think I'd like to see Tilda Swinton play the part.
And I was like, yeah!
Really, you know, a female Data, too, I think would be really interesting.
I mean, it would work, right? Like Data, I want to do something else for a bit, right?
Right. You're like Doctor Who.
Exactly.
You know? Data reborn as a woman would be kind of interesting.
Do you think we could squeeze in one more question?
Yeah, I've got 3 minutes and 32, 31, 30.
Okay, let's go to the question.
Brent Spiner, I'm a huge fan of all of your library of work, but the scenes that you played, Data and Soong and Lore, all in the same room just by yourself. I'd like to learn more about your techniques and some of the challenges that you face doing those things, because digital composition is really easy now.
Yeah, well, it was tough then, because you had to imagine where the other actor was, or the other character was, because it wasn't another actor, it was me. And first of all, let me say, it did allow me the opportunity to work with my favorite actor. But it was difficult because, you know, you'd have to know where the eyes were when you were on the other side. It's hard to explain, but it was difficult. You know, and I had to be at the studio at 3 o'clock in the morning to become Dr. Soong, because that was a lot of prosthetics and stuff, and in the middle of the day I had to take it all off and become Data and be made up as Data, and then come back and kind of remember where Dr. Soong was when he was talking to me when I was me. Yeah. But I think we've got 2 minutes and 5 seconds. I think I can do one more.
Yes.
Can I do 2? Well, they have to be a minute apiece.
So, my question was,
Well, how about 1?
my question was,
It's okay. Take your time. It's all right. Don't worry.
now I totally forgot.
You can't what?
I can't remember it, but it'll come back.
That's okay.
No, it'll come back.
That's all right. Can you guys help?
Let him ask.
Yeah, we all forget sometimes. It happens every day.
Totally.
So Data was one of my all-time favorite characters, and what did you like the best about playing Data?
Well, it was just Data was a really, you know what I liked best about it was when I first started doing the show, and maybe this is what you were going to ask, right? Maybe? Yeah. But when I first got the part, maybe around the 3rd episode, we had a director who said, "You are going to be so miserable if this show runs 7 years, because you won't be able to do anything. You're just going to be, you won't be able to play anything." And I said, "I don't know, I don't think so. I think I'm going to have a lot of stuff to do." And what I liked was that they were constantly throwing things at me, you know, challenges at me, and I was taking a swing at them, and sometimes I could hit it, you know, I get a single, and sometimes I'd whiff. But that was the fun part, was just, you know, going for it, and the fact that they gave me so much to go for. Thank you. I got 1 second left. Let me just, do you have it? Do you remember it? Let's do it.
Because I don't think there's anything in this room after us.
So my question was originally about the new next generation coming out, but I'm not sure if you are in it anymore because data blew up.
Right.
So my alternate question was, were any of your lines as data improvised?
Not a single line of Data's was improvised. Maybe in the movies a little bit. When I became Mr. Tricorder and all that stuff, that was, you know, in the song and things like that. But when we were doing the series, not a single word was improvised. As a matter of fact, if we missed a word or turned two words around, we had to do the scene again. That's how picky they were.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you for remembering that question. All the best to you.
Like our last question was one of our greatest questions.
There we go.